Hello, my name is Emma, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite books of 2016. This list is comprised of 9 of my favorite reads of 2016. I was originally going to do like 10 or 16, but I felt like I was just putting on books just to like get that even number. So these are some of my 9 favorite books of the year. Number 9 on this list is The Winter's Curse trilogy by Marie Rutkoski. I marathoned the crap out of these books when I first picked them up. I really loved this series. I'm so happy after staring at this beautiful cover for 2 years in Barnes & Noble, I finally had the motivation to read it. Kestrel is just a badass female main character, and Erin complements her so nicely. I just felt like everything about this book was so deep compared to a lot of the YA I read, so that's why it really stood out to me. I've said this before, but the political arc in this book is also like miles ahead of a lot of YA novels. I just feel like there's so much in this book that is so complex and enjoyable, and I had the best time just reading the crap out of these babies because I just, one after the other, I marathoned them so hard, and I'm so happy I finally gave them a chance. Number 8 on my list of favorite books of 2016 is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is actually one of my more recent reads, and I'm so happy I finally picked this one up as well. 2016 was the year I kind of experimented more with adult books, which is something I was terrified of in 2015, and I really found myself enjoying psychological thrillers, so of course I had to pick up Gone Girl. This book was just like a total mindfuck for me. It was just so insane the way the story is told. I have realized that I love unreliable narrators. This book was so intoxicating because like every 5 minutes I was changing my mind as to what I believed to be true, and it was just such a cool reading experience for me. It's something I totally want to dabble with more in the future. Gone Girl is 100% worth all of the hype. Like, I used to be a little skeptical of it because it was one of those books that like people who aren't readers were enjoying, and I was like, how good can this really be? But yeah, Gone Girl was unreal. It really opened my mind up to more psychological thrillers, and I feel like because I've been open about enjoying Gillian Flynn's work, there are so many other books that I feel are more accessible to me because I'm just like, I'm growing as a reader, and Gone Girl is a great marking of that. Number 7 on my list of favorite books of 2016 is the first 2 books in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, A Court of Thorns and Roses and Accordionist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I just love ACOTAR so much. The world itself is beautifully written. It is super complex, and there are just so many different levels to it. The characters are also very interesting because there is so much character development just in the span of these 2 books, and it's gonna be a long ass series, so like I just can't wait to see where things go from here. Akamath broke me, like 100% broke me. That ending was just so unreal, and I'm dying for the 3rd book. I feel ACOTAR was another milestone for me because it was the first time I really loved a series, like absolutely loved it, but I saw problems that I needed to challenge and I needed to criticize, and that's not something I was ever used to. I used to be the type of person who just read a book because it was entertaining, but ACOTAR was different for me, and I just feel like knowing that I can really love these books, but I can also talk about the problematic aspects, and like I won't be silent about it. It makes me feel nice to know that like I'm capable of that. And so it's been an interesting reading experience, and I'm 100% continuing with the series, obviously, because these are some of my favorite books of the year, but I'm just really happy these books came into my life. I'm even making my mom read Akamath right now, and she's loving it, and it's wonderful. These are great. You should totally read them. I love Akamath. Number 6 on my list of favorite books of 2016 is Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. This is one of the books that I feel like I recommend constantly on my channel. It is about this girl named Alex who's suffering from early onset schizophrenia. I heavily relate to this book because when I was 16 I was suffering from a form of psychosis that is really similar to schizophreniform, and Alex suffers from visual hallucinations, which is what I was suffering from. It was really wonderful to read a book about a normal person who was suffering from visual hallucinations because I was a normal person suffering from visual hallucinations. It's not something that's talked about in the media. Even when schizophrenia comes up, there's like a stereotypical schizophrenic person that is always displayed, and this showed something that I could really identify with. This book is really important to me. I think it's a beautiful story that really deserves to be told, and there are just so many important aspects of it that I think everyone should read, and I'm so happy I decided to pick it up this year. It warms my heart to talk about because I loved this book with like every fiber of my being. Number 5 on my list of favorite books of 2016 is A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. Are you guys sick of hearing me talk about this one yet? I love this book. so much. I have a full spoiler-free review, like super long spoiler-free review on my channel, so if you'd like to check it out, that is in the description below. This book follows two boys named Adam and Julian, who used to be foster brothers, but they have spent 5 years apart after Julian was taken away to live with his uncle. I've explained the synopsis a million times, and if you want to find out more info, all of the books I talk about will be in the description of this video, but essentially, Adam and Julian end up at the same high school when Julian is a freshman and Adam is a senior, and they start to rekindle this relationship that they had all of those years ago. This is not a primarily romance book. This book is really heavily focused on friendship and kindness, which are not things that I normally see. Like every other YA book in the world is romance, and so it was really refreshing to see a book that is more focused on brothership and family and friendship. It also deals with a lot of heavy topics. It deals with ADHD, which Adam suffers from. It deals with child abuse and trauma and growth, and there were so many amazing aspects of this book that had me crying the entire time while reading it, and I would really recommend it to you guys. I love this book with all of my heart. It has made its way up to one of my favorite standalones of all time, and I'm just so happy I was given the opportunity to read it. Number 4 on my list of favorite reads of 2016 is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera, which comes out on January 17th. Another book that just broke me in a million ways, and I loved every second of it. History Is All You Left Me is another extremely important book. It follows a boy named Griffin who has recently lost the love of his life named Theo. This book is told in the past and the present. The past is focused on us learning about Griffin and Theo's history, their whole relationship, and how it ended, and you know, it kind of meets up in the middle with the present. But the present is focused on how Theo's newer boyfriend named Jackson comes to the funeral, and Jackson and Griffin kind of engage in this unlikely relationship, not like romantic relationship necessarily, but like a friendship, a camaraderie, an acquaintanceship. They have this thing going on where basically they are helping each other grieve because they are the only two people that really understand what they're going through after both being in love with the same person. It's a queer own voices novel. Griffin suffers from OCD, which was like an A+ portrayal. It also of course deals with grief and lost love, but it also is really focused on self-discovery and finding yourself, and there were just so many important aspects of this book that I loved. It is one of my favorite books. Again, it has just climbed up to the top of my favorite books of like all time. I'm actually lucky enough to host the event for History at Books of Wonder on January 16th. History is just so fabulous. I know it is going to be one of the best book releases of 2017, and I would just highly recommend you guys pick it up. Number 3 on my list of favorite books of 2016 is The Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. I read both of these this year and I just loved them so much. These are two really diverse books, and at the time of me picking up Six of Crows for the first time, I was not reading diversely, so it's another milestone for me in reading. A lot of my favorite books have like significant meaning to me rather than them just being fantastic books. There's diverse cultures, diverse sexualities, there's Disabled Rap, it's an own voices novel. There's just so many good things about Six of Crows that you should read it for. It is also such an epic fantasy novel. I mean, it's about these 6 unlikely dregs who come together to pull off this unbelievable heist, and it is so epic. All of the characters are so individual, and it's so nice to have a cast of 6 completely different, unique characters that we get to know equally so well. Six of Crows is just, it's life, guys. It's so amazing. I would recommend this to absolutely anyone who likes fantasy. I know that this is a book, or even just Cookie Kingdoms is on like everyone's list of favorites of 2016, as it should be, because these books are so good, and I'm so happy I gave them a chance. Number 2 on my list of favorite reads of 2016 is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This book was recommended to me and actually sent to me by Sarah from Sarah Without an H. So she does also have a video on why you should read Night Film, like all reasons why this book is for you. So I will link that below because I think everyone should read Night Film. Another book that was a big stepping stone in my reading because this was the first adult psychological thriller that I ever read, and it really opened me up to the adult genre, and I'm so thankful for that. Night Film follows a journalist named Scott McGrath who for years has been obsessed with this cult filmmaker named Cordova, and he actually lost his career as a result of his obsession. Flash forward a few years, Denalius Cordova's daughter Ashley is found dead and believed to have committed suicide, but Scott finds out about this and he doesn't believe that she actually committed suicide. He believes that something more is going on. So Scott goes on this journey to kind of expose Cordova and kind of prove that there are things going on in his life that are hidden from the public that need to be exposed, and it is just so unbelievably crazy. This book was a wild ride. It also is mixed media, so there are some like web pages and newspaper articles implanted into the book, which make for a really unique reading experience. If you're somebody who loves things suspenseful, creepy, thrilling, I would highly recommend Night Film. It was such a marking point in my reading, and it really changed me as a reader. Like, I have such different standards for the books that I want to read, the books that I have read, just because of this book, and it really meant a lot to me, and I'm so happy I read it. Like, I don't know how many books I can say I'm like truly grateful I read because they changed me so much, and Night Film is definitely one of them. And of course, my absolute favorite read of 2016 is the one you guys have probably spent this whole video being like, oh my god, Emma, where is this book? And of course, it is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Dark Artifices series, and it was everything I could have wanted and more. I have read all of Cassandra Clare's books. I am reading the Mortal Instruments series for the 8th time, guys, and I truly believe Lady Midnight is her best work yet. It is just so wonderful to see your favorite authors grow. Every single time Cassandra Clare publishes a new book, I see her writing improve. I see the way that she like writes plots and twists and characters just get so much stronger, and that's such a wonderful experience for me as a dedicated reader. This book is massive, as it should be. There's so much content in here. The Shadow World expands to like beyond all of our wildest dreams, and I'm just so impressed by it. I think this is really going to be an extremely strong series because it has such a strong foundation. I loved it. I don't care what anyone else says. This book was phenomenal. It was so well written, so complex, so deep. There are just so many ways the story can go, and I really cannot wait to see how everything comes together in the end. So those are all of my favorite reads of 2016. I read over 75 books in the year of 2016, and that is a lot, and while I did narrow them down to only 9 of my favorites, there are so many books that I read this year that I loved. I would love to know in the comments what some of your favorite reads of 2016 were, if you read any of the same books that I just talked about in this video, and what your thoughts on them were. And here's to hoping that 2017 is just as good of a reading year. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!